Good morning, everybody. Today's lesson from Chapter 10, Lesson 3 is titled Measure Time Intervals. And our story problem says, Alicia and her family visited the Kennedy Space Center. They watched a movie that began at 4:10 p.m. and ended at 4:53 p.m. How long did the movie last? Well, over here it asks us to circle the times the movie began and ended and underline the question. So our movie began at 4:10 p.m. It ended at 4:53 p.m. and our question is, how long did the movie last? To find elapsed time, you have to find the amount of time that passes from the start of an activity to the end of the activity. One way that we can do this is by using a number line. So they give us a number line here on the bottom, and it says to find the time on the number line that the movie began. Well, up here in our story problem, the movie began at 4:10, so down here is where our movie began, at 4:10 on this number line. Then step 2 says to count on to the ending time, 4:53, count on by tens for each 10 minutes, and then count on by ones for each 1 minute. Write the times below the number line. So down here on these blanks is where we're going to begin. So it goes 4:10, 4:20, this will be 4:30, and then 4:40, and then 4:50, and then after that it's by 1. So then it goes 4:51, 4:52, and then 4:53. And then step 3 says to draw the jumps on the number line to show the minutes from 4:10 to 4:53, record the minutes, and then add them. So they want us to draw the jump. So they drew one jump from 4:10 to 4:20. We need another one from 4:20 to 4:30, from 4:30 to 4:40, from 4:40 to 4:50, 4:50 to 4:51, to 4:52, and then to 4:53. Then we need to record the time. So it was 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 1 minute, and then 1 minute. And then they already put them all together in a line, 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And if we add that up together, it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43. So it's going to be 43. Now the elapsed time from 4:10 to 4:53 p.m. is 43 minutes. So the movie lasted 43 minutes. Okay, another way that you can find this same answer is by using a clock, okay, an analog clock. And so since our start time is 4:10 and it ends at 4:53 still, we just start with finding the time on the clock. So 4:10 is done for us, so it starts right here on the clock. And then you count on by 5s and 1s until you get to 4:53. Okay, so they started it for us and it goes 5, 10, then we're gonna fill in the blanks as we go. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then they put in 41, and then we need 42 and 43. And so that elapsed time is still 43 minutes. And then the last way that they want us to know is we can figure it out by subtracting 2. So you can write the ending time, which is 4:53, so they have the 4, then you put 53, and then write the starting time, which is 4:10, and so that the hours line up and the minutes line up. And then since the hours are the same, you just subtract the minutes. So 3 minus 0 is 3, and 5 minus 1 is 4, so it's 43 minutes. All right, try this. Find the elapsed time in minutes 2 ways. Start time is 10:05 a.m., end time is 10:30 a.m. Use a number line and find 10:05 on the number line, which they've marked for us. Count on from 10:05 to 10:30. Draw marks and record the times on the number line, then draw and label the jumps. So if we go by 10 minutes, 10:05 plus 10 makes it to 10:15. And then 10:15 with 15 minutes, we can jump it and do 15, brings you right to 10:30. And then your jump from 10:05 to 10:15 is 10 minutes, and your jump from 10:15 to 10:30 is 15 minutes. And if we add those two numbers together, we get 25. 10 plus 15 equals 25 minutes. So from 10:05 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., that's a 0, it is 25 minutes. So the elapsed time is 25 minutes. All right, and then the other way to do it is to subtract. So they gave us our ending time and our starting time, and since the hours are the same, we just have to subtract the minutes. So we do have to borrow because our number here is bigger than our top. So we have to borrow from our 3, make it a 2, and we can make our 0 a 10. When we do that, 10 minus 5 is 5, and 2 minus 0 is 2, which still brings us to 25 minutes. All right, the Sharon Show says to use the number line to find the elapsed time from 1:15 to 1:40 p.m. So they give us 1:15. I'm going to start by jumping by 5 so that it brings us to 1:20. So I'm just going to put 5 up top. And then I want to get all the way to 1:40. So then I'm going to go to 1:30. That's jumping by 10. And then if I jump one more 10, that brings me to 1:40. And then if I add my 5 plus my 10 plus my 10, I get 10, 20, 25. And that's 25 minutes. So I just need to write 25 minutes over here. 25 minutes. I'm just going to do an abbreviation. All right, find the elapsed time. Start at 11:35 and end at 11:54. So I'm going to make my mark and do 11:35 a.m. And I'm going to do a 5-minute jump again. And that's going to bring me to 11:40. I'm going to put a 5. And then I'm going to jump by 10s, which brings me to 11:50. And then I just have to do by ones. My jump is bigger because my numbers are big. But 1 brings me to 11:51. Another one is 11:52. And then 11:53. And then my last one is 11:54. Kind of had to go over there. So this was by 10. And then this was by 1, 1, 1, and 1. So 5 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay? So then we have to add that up. So 10 plus 5 is 15, and then 16, 17, 18, 19. So it will be 19 minutes. And then we just need to write 19 minutes on our line. All right. All right, using the analog clock, it says start at 4:20 and end at 5. How much time has elapsed? So 4:20 is on the clock for us, and if we just skip by 5s all the way until we reach 5 o'clock, which lands on the 12, okay? So we go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So our time is 40 minutes. Okay, on your own. I want you to try numbers 4, 5, 6, and 7 on your own. You're going to press pause, do it on your own, and then when you come back, I'll go over them with you. Okay, now our answers here. For number 4, you start at 8:35 and you end at 8:55. So if you counted by 5s all the way until 8:55, you came up with 20 minutes. For number 5, if you counted all the way around and you ended at 10:41, you ended up at 31 minutes elapsed time. For number 6, if you started at 9:25, now you could have used different numbers up here, but as long as you reached 18 minutes, then you did it correctly, all right? And then number 7, same thing. As long as you started at 2:15 and then you ended at the 2:52, even if you did this differently here, as long as you ended at 37, then you also did it correctly. All right, problem-solving applications. Number 8, John started reading his book about outer space at 9:15. That means I'm going to make myself a little note. 9:15 means 9:15. Okay, in the morning is a.m. And then he read until 9:45, and 9:45 is 9:45 a.m. in the morning. So how long did John read his book? Well, we can take 9:45 and put it on top, and then 9:15, and then we can subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So our time is 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is how much elapsed time went by. Number 9, use reasoning. Tim and Alicia arrived at the rocket display at 3:40 p.m. and Alicia left the display at 3:56 p.m. Tim left at 3:49 p.m. If the answer is Alicia, what is the question? So first, let's figure out how much time each of them spent at the rocket display. So we can do that by subtracting the time that they left and the time that they came. So they both arrived, Tim and Alicia arrived at the rocket display at 3:40, but Alicia left at 3:56. So we're gonna do 3:56 minus 3:40, and I'm gonna label this right next to it, Alicia. And then 6 minus 0 is 6, 5 minus 4 is 1. So she spent 16 minutes at the rocket display. Now Tim left at 3:49. So if we do Tim here, we have 3:56 minus 3:49, and this is for Tim. And then we subtract, we have to borrow. So borrow from the 5, make it a 4, make the 6 a 16. And then 16 minus 9 is 5. And 4 minus 4 is 0. So he was only there for 5 minutes. Now, so Alicia spent more time at the rocket display. So our question could simply just be, who spent more time at the rocket display? Who spent more time at the rocket display? Question number 10 says, at the Space Center, Karen bought a model of a shuttle. She started working on the model the next day at 11:13 a.m. She worked until leaving for lunch at 11:51 a.m. After lunch, she worked on the model again from 1:29 until 1:48 p.m. How long did Karen work on the model? So we had to figure out the elapsed time that she worked on it in the morning and the elapsed time that she worked on it in the afternoon, and then add those two times together. So first we have to start by subtracting, and then we have to add. So we're going to do the 11:51 minus 11:13. So 11:51 minus 11:13. We'll have to borrow. Eleven minus 3 is 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. So that's 38 minutes. And then we have 148 minus 129 for the time that she worked in the afternoon. And we have to subtract that. And again, since this is bigger, we have to borrow. 18 minus 9 is 9. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we have 38 minutes in the morning and 19 minutes in the afternoon. So now we have to add these two numbers together. 8 plus 9 is 17, and 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 57. So our total is 57 minutes. All right. And number 11 says, Aiden arrived at the rocket display at 3:35 p.m. and left at 3:49 p.m. Ava arrived at the rocket display at 3:30 p.m. and left at 3:56 p.m. Ava spent how many more minutes at the rocket display than Aiden? So again, we're going to need to subtract to figure out the elapsed time for both Aiden and Ava, and then we need to subtract because it says how many more minutes did Ava spend more than Aiden. So here we go. For Aiden, his time was 3:35 and 3:49. So we have to do 3:49 minus 3:35. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. That's 14 minutes, and this is for Aiden. And then for Ava, it is 3:56 minus 3:30. When you do that, 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. And this is for Ava. And then we have to take those two numbers, and because it says how many more, we have to subtract them. So we have to take 26 minus 14, and 6 minus 4 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So our answer is 12 more minutes. Let's see you. 12 more minutes. Number 12, Kira got on the tour bus at 5:15 p.m. She got off the bus at 5:37 p.m. How long was Kira on the bus? Select the number to make the sentence true. So we have to figure this out. So we have 5:15 she got on and 5:37 she got off. So we need to subtract. So 5:37 minus 5, 15. 7 minus 5 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. So over here we have 15, 22, 37, or 52, and our answer is 22. So for 22 minutes, Kira was on the bus for 22 minutes. All right, so for today's assignment, I want you to go to Think Central. There'll be a practice assignment and then your regular assignment for your grade, okay? Do both of those, turn them in, and then come back to Google Classroom and press mark as done or completed or whatever that purple button is on Google Classroom, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Bye.